This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin tonight with a Valley News Live investigation. A hub for a human smuggling ring has been uncovered near the Canadian border.
2 men have been charged in separate cases that took place earlier this month in Minnesota and North Dakota. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor explains the latest details on those cases and how law enforcement says this organization has spanned across the country.
Stacey, Justin, nearly 24 people have been involved in both of the human smuggling cases. Ernesto Falcon Jr. and Rodolfo Arzola Carrillo, both of Tifton, Georgia, are now being charged for their involvement in the most recent case. Now, according to an affidavit, Falcon called police just after 3:30 a.m. on November 17th, saying his van had gotten stuck in the snow near Netchie in Pembina County. The document also says both men walked nearly 40 minutes to meet the family they were transporting before calling authorities due to the dangerous weather conditions. When Pembina County sheriff deputies arrived, they found that a total of 9 people had been stranded, including 2 children. All 7 of the adults admitted to being in the country illegally. Falcon claims Arzola Carrillo got him involved with smuggling groups into the U.S., paying between $500 and $1,000 per person. But just 5 days earlier, on November 12th, 8 people were apprehended near St. Vincent, Minnesota, a short distance from the Canadian border. Now, details are still limited in that case, as they are still seeking charges for 1 man for smuggling, while 7 others are on the verge of deportation. Now, these 2 cases may be a bigger part of another organization. South Georgia Farms have been a hub. South Georgia has been a hub for human trafficking. You can read more on that on our website at valleynewslive.com. Stacey, Justin.
Thanks so much, Nishay. And if you believe you have information about a potential trafficking situation, you can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
That number's on the bottom of your screen right now. It's 1-888-373-7888. All right, now switching gears here, talking about the forecast outside, where things are getting a bit chilly this week. Hutch.
Yes, we have chilly air heading back into the valley after a few days in the 30s to near 40 degrees. And if you look in the light bulbs here along Interstate 94, you can see a few flakes flying, and the flobbeliness, if that is a word indeed, of the camera showing that those winds are mighty gusty as well. First alert weather day for Friday, and some snow making its way through. Measurable snow with wind and cold air could cause travel trickery. It could impact the Friday afternoon commute for many of us, and the snow lasts into Saturday morning, so there likely could be some weekend impacts for you as well. Again, measurable snow. Some will see well over 3 inches of snow the way things are looking, and it could intensify even a little bit more. We're going to keep our eyes on it. It's a first alert weather day for Friday with impacts on Saturday. Remember the big parade on Saturday, so all eyes will be on this system as it works its way in. For tonight, we have gusty northwest winds persistent. Those are gusting to 40 miles per hour or better at times. So we head into the overnight hours. The gusty wind will persist. Temperatures in the teens to near 20 feel more like this. Justin and Stacey, it's brutally cold out there, and it's going to stay that way. Windy and cold all night in your Fargo planner here as temperatures slip down into the teens. Look at the winds sustained near 20 miles per hour throughout the evening. Have that survival kit in your vehicle, and I'll have an update on that forecast for the late week system that we'll all have our eyes on as we get ready for the parade. Hopefully there's hot chocolate. I think that would be good.
I think we might need more than that, Hutch. All right, thanks so much.
Changes are coming soon to NDSU, aiming to transform the institution's academic sector. University President David Cook said today officials are considering merging the 7 colleges down to 4 or 5. Cook says all the programs, including athletics, are on the table for potential cuts.
We're going to have to take a look at programs that are out there that maybe are, low enrollment, high cost. Taking a look at things that maybe don't make sense. Either they shut down or they merge, or they come together with other programs.
The university is now seeking feedback from students. Plans moving forward are expected to be announced sometime in January.
We're learning new details about a Wahpeton death investigation that we first told you about last week. Authorities say 54-year-old Charles Cox died of severe blood loss following an assault. It happened at a home in the 400 block of 8th Street North. That's where police found Cox and a woman, both with serious injuries. Officers are calling it a violent domestic incident. The woman was airlifted to a Fargo hospital. No additional information about her condition is being provided. New at 10, a 38-year-old Red Lake man was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison for the brutal murder of his own cousin. The U.S. Attorney's Office says in the fall of 2020, Ralph Edward Cloud Jr. beat Alan Smith to death inside a residence on the Red Lake Indian Reservation with a metal cabinet and its drawers because he was concerned about a relationship between Smith and his wife. Cloud pleaded guilty to second-degree murder back in July.
Homelessness has been a top concern in Fargo for some time, but some of that population isn't just out on the streets. They're in our schools. It's why there's a work-in-progress location for Fraser's new Stepping Stone Resource Center. The organization says child homelessness, youth homelessness, is a problem that has a huge need and not enough help.
Picture yourself not having anyone who gives you compassion. Picture yourself being alone. That's what most of the kids that we work with are facing when they come through our center.
Construction for the new Stepping Stone location will be completed as they reach their funding goal. They hope to have that all done by next fall. If you'd like to help, we have a link to that on our website, valleynewslive.com, and through the VNL News app.
The U.S. Senate passed a landmark bill to protect same-sex marriage today. 12 Republicans crossed the aisle to join Democrats to pass the Respect for Marriage Act. The purpose of the legislation is to protect same-sex marriage if the Supreme Court overturns the 2015 decision that legalized it. It also protects interracial marriage. While the measure doesn't prohibit states from banning those marriages, it would force them to recognize such marriages granted by other states. Both North Dakota Senators, Republicans John Hoeven and Kevin Cramer, voted against the bill. Both Minnesota Senators, Democrats Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith, voted in favor. The bill now heads to the House. Today, the state Supreme Court heard arguments regarding North Dakota's abortion ban.
Previously, a South Central District judge ruled abortion was still legal in the state despite the state's trigger law, while a lawsuit was being tried brought on by the Red River Women's Clinic in Fargo.
Now, the state attorney general's office is challenging that decision. Bella Craft has more.
The North Dakota Supreme Court was asked to intervene and rule on an injunction of if the state's abortion ban was legal. The injunction allows abortion to remain legal in the state while litigation occurs.
The abortion law hasn't been thrown out by the courts. It's just been blocked from implementation.
Attorneys for the Red River Women's Clinic said that South Central District Judge Bruce Romanok was correct in issuing the preliminary injunction. The clinic said the ban would cause an unreasonable burden on doctors who would be charged with a felony for performing the procedure.
The district court correctly found that plaintiffs are likely to succeed on their claim that a state law which prohibits abortion, even when a person's life is at risk, does not serve a state interest.
The Attorney General's office argued that the ban should be left in force throughout the litigation process. They stated that Romanok misconstrued the law while issuing the preliminary injunction allowing for abortion to continue.
Specifically, the district court did not analyze whether Red River Women's Clinic had a substantial probability for success.
Justice Lisa McEvers asked if cases of rape and incest would have to be proven before an abortion could be performed legally. Red River Women's Clinic attorney said that the burden of proof would go to the doctor, which presents a flaw in the trigger law. However, the state says affirmative defenses would benefit doctors.
Inclusion of affirmative defenses does provide a benefit.
It would force physicians to delay emergency medical care to any pregnant patient.
The state Supreme Court stated that they will take the case under advisement.
All right.
That's Bella Craft reporting. Again, no decision has been made yet.
We have an update on that ice rescue yesterday in Beltrami County. It started when an ice sheet broke off from shore on Red Lake. But if the incident itself wasn't exciting enough for the more than 100 people out on the ice, a Hibbing couple managed to get engaged during the chaos. Andy Labarge and Lydia Tolley say they've been together for about 3 years. Every year they go ice fishing on Red Lake for early ice.
Andy had tied my ring on a lure and put it on my bobber line, and I came back in and he's like, "Oh, you got a fish." So I reel it up and it's this ring and he's on a knee, and I was like, "Oh my God."
All the people who were stuck on the ice did make it back to shore safely after a couple hours. The couple says they are excited to plan their wedding, and now they have an engagement.